Okay. Hello, Jose. Thank you so much for meeting with me to make this video for our students. It's really, really helpful for them. And I know
It's
you saw a list of questions that I was going to ask. So
yeah.
let me start off. So first is where you grew up, what high school you went to, and how you got interested in engineering.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It's my pleasure, Joanne. I'm really happy to do this. And so
Thanks.
yeah. So yeah. No problem. So where I grew up, I'm born and raised in Santa Cruz. So yeah, I went to high school to Harbor High. Graduated from there in 2013. And how I got interested into engineering is every summer, during elementary, middle school, I would take these summer courses through this GATE program, which is this program for gifted students who are academic well academically. And so one of the courses that I took one summer, I forget what specific summer it was a career exploration class where they brought in a bunch of different people from wide different industries, and so just to talk about the things that they do at their in their field. And so one of those days, I we took a trip to the old Plantronics facility next to Costco. And so that was my first introduction to engineering. That we got to meet a bunch of different engineers in um, that work out of that facility, and I got to see what things they worked on, and how they collaborated and stuff. And it was something that just really interested me, and something that I felt like I would like to pursue as a career.
Cool. And
Yeah.
then why don't you talk about your transition from high school to college?
Yeah. Um, uh, so I ended up transferring from high school to Cabrillo, and that wasn't necessarily my first choice. And my first choice was to transfer into a four-year school, but I actually didn't get accepted to too many schools straight out of high school. So I ended up going to Cabrillo and just starting to take the general educational classes at Cabrillo, which looking back, I feel like it was actually a better decision for at least for me.
Mm,
And so yeah.
that's great. And then when you were at Cabrillo, you started taking engineering classes, and how did you know which field of engineering you wanted to go into?
So I did start taking some engineering classes in Cabrillo. Um I well, I mean, through meeting with counselors and just kind of doing my own research, I kind of realized that I decided that I wanted to take some classes geared towards mechanical engineering.
Mm,
And the reason for that is because I knew I wanted to get involved into engineering somehow, but I just didn't necessarily know specifically what type of engineering I wanted to pursue. And I felt like mechanical engineering is such a broad industry where you really are involved in a bunch of different things. And so, as somebody who didn't really have a real idea of where I wanted to head towards. I like the idea of having different options and different industries that I could go into with that degree. And
yeah,
so
cool.
that's how I kind of came up with that decision.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you transferred from Cabrillo, which university did you go to? And did you have any internships or did you work in any clubs at the university? So maybe tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. After Cabrillo, I transferred over to San Jose State, and I actually in my last year of San Jose State. Well, so as soon as I transferred to San Jose State, I tried applying to a bunch of as many internships as possible. Try to connect with engineers who could maybe help in hopes that they can maybe help me landed in internship. And it wasn't until my last year at San Jose State where I finally landed an internship for the city of San Jose at their wastewater facility. And so I did that for my last year at San Jose State.
Okay. Was it during school or was it the summer before, the summer after? Do you
It's
remember?
it started. It was both. So I started a little after, towards the end of my second to last year at San Jose State,
Okay.
and I worked through the summer, and then and through, and also through my last year at San Jose State.
Yeah. That's
So it
great.
was
So that means you
during COVID
got
and during the summer.
Yeah, so that means you landed an internship that first summer between your junior and senior year, and then they liked you and they wanted you to stay. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so then when you graduated San Jose State, maybe you could talk now about things that you did, what industries you've worked in since being at San Jose State.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm actually still working at the job that I landed right after San Jose State.
Excellent. That's
Yeah,
great.
after I graduated San Jose State, I wasn't 100% sure where I wanted to go, or where I didn't have too many opportunities. And even trying to I even tried applying to two positions through the city of San Jose, thinking that, since I was an intern, I maybe had some sort of like foot in the door. But I actually never got called back. I never even got a rejection from the city. And so it wasn't until one of my senior design advisor reached out to, I'm assuming, the whole class, just based on how his email was written, asking if we were still looking for jobs, to let him know, and then and to send our resume. And since I didn't even have an interview at that time, so I figured what could go wrong. So I sent him an interview, or a resume, sorry. And about a month later, the founder of the company that I work for sent me an email saying that he got my resume, and was wondering if I was interested in wanting to hear more, or about what they do. And I told him, yeah, no, yeah, I'm really interested. And then kind of waited for another month. And I was thinking, okay, maybe he had a position that he was looking to fill, and it already got filled. And then he reached out to me again, saying that he'd like for me to come in for a for informal interview.
Yeah,
And so I went in for the interview, um, and then came in for a second interview. Um, and then about a week, and that all took like about a week or two, the interview process, about 2 weeks.
yeah,
And then a week after my second interview, I got an offer to for a full-time position.
right.
And that was 5 years ago. And I'm still at that
That's great.
same company.
So
Yeah.
what's the name of the company? I see a name on your shirt.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's a consultant firm called Salas O'Brien. So we at least for my we do actually our company does a wide variety of things, but I focus on designing heating and air conditioning systems.
Yeah,
And so for commercial size buildings, schools, offices, government buildings, and so on and so forth.
great. Are you working with a team of engineers or are you designing it solo?
It depends on the project. Some projects do require an entire team. Other projects are small enough where I'm usually working where I'm working by myself.
Yeah,
So it depends on the project, the size of the project, the amount that we budgeted for,
yeah.
and stuff.
I've had a number of students who are interested in HVAC, so I'll definitely
Oh,
connect
that's good
you
to
them
hear.
with
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so could you name or talk about a project that you really enjoyed, whether it was at the city or the company that you're at now, or a project that you worked on when you were a senior?
Mhm.
at San Jose State? What is a project you really enjoyed?
Well, um, I think probably two of my favorite projects are two projects that I'm actually currently working on right now. It's a brand new general education building at Evergreen Valley College.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I taught there before I taught at
oh
Cabrillo.
really? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so it's brand new building. It's actually I don't know if you remember where the tennis courts are located. Yeah, so it's gonna be so it's right there, and it's actually already yeah it's the building's already it's already up it's already broken ground. It's supposed to be fully occupied within the end of this month.
Oh, wow.
But that was my first kind of big project where I was kind of heavily involved in not only the design but also during the construction phase, coordinating with contractors, reviewing submittals and RFIs. So I was now that was my kind of my first project, and I'd probably say, although it was probably my kind of one of my most more stressful projects, but it was I think my one of the more rewarding ones for me because
That's
that's
great.
kind of like my first kind of real exposure into the industry. Uh,
Yeah, that's great. And
yeah,
then you also got to do a project at a community college. It's like you're giving back
yeah,
to
yeah,
the system that
exactly.
you started in.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then also, yeah, and then another one too, and then the other one that's ongoing as well is um a retrofit project for the county of Solano's courthouse
Hmm,
up in Vallejo.
yeah,
And that's probably the project that I'm really kind of even though it's my supervisor's stamp on the project, I'm kind of more the the go-to person for that project where I'm the point of contact for all design related questions. I'm the
yeah,
one involved in all most if not all the meetings and stuff
that's great.
and coordinating and in some cases I'm the one that kind of is making some of the final decisions
Wow.
with certain questions that come up. So
That's awesome, Jose. You mentioned stamp. Because you're working inside structures, do you think that you want to become a licensed mechanical engineer?
yeah, I'm actually my goal for this year is to get my professional engineering stamp. I'm currently yeah I'm current I have my EIT I have my EIT which I kind of wish I took I took the test when I was still in school,
Yeah,
but I still but I you know I put in my hours to study for it and
yeah,
was able to get my EIT certificate. So now I'm starting to work on taking the PE exam
yeah.
here.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions. So, how has your engineering degree impacted your life or your quality of life? You could also think of like what opportunities do your experience, sorry, what opportunities do you have based on the engineering degree?
Um
So how's your life been impacted by having an engineering degree?
I think um yeah, I saw this question and that was probably the one that I kind of was taking a bit more this kind of stumped me a little bit because I was took a little more thinking, but I think um well, one of the benefits with my degree, with all the projects that I'm involved in, is that you get the cool thing with my job is that you kind of get to see a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff that you don't typically see as a regular patron. For
Mm,
example, one of my first site visits that I did was for the SAP Center where the San Jose Sharks play. So I got to kind of see like where the players walk out of, and then also where all their equipment's kind of stored and where it sits and stuff. So so like I would have never thought that as I would never would have thought that I would have that opportunity to go
mm,
and look at that. And some of my projects do require me to travel a little bit, so there is some some travel, some travel involved as well. Like I've gotten to go to Arizona. I've gotten been able to go to the state of Washington, and
Mm,
even for one of my projects, I went to Edmonton in Canada. So
wow.
I don't know if that's kind of necessarily for specific engineering wise, but I mean, I mean, as far as like at least in my company, I've gotten opportunities to do some traveling, but,
Yeah.
I guess in a more, personal level, it's kind of helped me be a bit more, detail oriented, with, I don't know necessarily life in general, but it just kind of, there have been a lot of opportunities for me to kind of learn about, it's the importance of make sure something's written down properly or something's shown properly, through my projects and through other projects that I'm involved in. One of the higher ups in our company, he actually is involved. I help him out in some of his litigation projects, and so I'm over there, on some of those site visits where I see kind of where what issues the some of the buildings, are having, and we review the design drawings that were approved, and we analyze where mistakes were made, and
Mm,
just seeing the impact that some oversights can have,
mm,
kind of has helped me, not only as an engineer but as a person, realize that it's important to make sure that you, are aware of those things, because it could have a pretty, serious financial impact
yeah. Oh,
on your
definitely.
projects.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
Okay, so another question is, obviously you transferred to Cabrillo to San Jose State. Now you're working as an engineer. The people watching this video, are students who are currently at Cabrillo. What suggestions do you have for them to be successful?
um I think the biggest thing, one of the suggestions that I have is, as far as the student is concerned, is to one have a plan, but also have an open mind, because, a lot of times, your plan, well, having a plan is important because it gives you a sense of direction of where you want to head, where you want to go towards. But, but as I've learned as a student and as a professional, plans never go how you originally set them up. I know, when I was a student, you and I have had numerous conversations of where I've wanted to go to school, and, before, I transferred, one of my top choices was going to Santa Clara. But after kind of doing more research, I kind of, I felt like San Jose State was a better choice for me.
Mm,
And, excuse me. And same thing
yeah,
with kind of the industry I want to head towards. I actually didn't wasn't aware that, about, that HVAC involves engineering as well. And it wasn't until I got that interview where I was even aware of HVAC. And so, but because I wasn't sure of where I wanted to head towards, I decided to give it a try and see if I liked it.
yeah,
And I mean, I'm through working with, people in my company, and through my just kind of my own experiences, I started to have a better appreciation for it. Um, and so, and then also, I think also an important thing that maybe some people might not realize is to be honest with yourself, and be honest with others, because, when I was, interviewing for the job, on my second interview, um, I was actually giving a like 10 question quiz on HVAC because one of the higher ups was used to be a teacher at San Jose State. So I think it was from when he used to teach the HVAC course. And so I had during my interview process, I never explicitly said, but I kind of made it known that I didn't know much or I didn't know anything about HVAC. And so he gave me the test and or the quiz and he told me, work on take as much time as you need to work on these questions, but don't try not to look up any answers on your phone. Just do the best you can, and if you and then when you're done, just give it to the receptionist, and she'll hand it over to me. And so they left me alone in the room actually, and so I was sitting in there for I felt like 15 to 30 minutes in my head, and I was thinking, should I maybe I could look up, maybe one or two questions so it looks like I know something. And so I was kind of having this argument with myself or this debate with myself. It's like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And then I told myself, like, I don't want to put something down and have them think I know something when in reality I don't. Because if I do happen to get this position, I don't want them to have this expectation of myself that I actually don't have, and then have it be an issue down the road. So I wrote my name down on the paper on the quiz. I gave it to the receptionist, and then I walked away. I didn't put a single thing down on any of the questions. Um, and so that, and I told myself, I was pretty, I was beating, not gonna, I was beating myself a little bit because I felt like I didn't do well, and I felt like because I didn't write anything down that they weren't going to give me the position. But I truly think that it was because I was honest with them and telling them, hey, I don't know, like I don't have any prior knowledge about this industry, but I am willing to learn, and
Mm,
I am willing to, to do the best I can. And so, I truly do feel like that helped a lot with me getting that position.
yeah, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. And then maybe how about maybe you could touch on some things that you did at Cabrillo that you thought were really great, that you would want present engineering students to take advantage of?
Oh man, to this day, I still have great memories of Cabrillo. Well, I was involved with the engineering abroad program, and it really, I think that really well, that's one of the things that kind of really helped me in my path to engineering, because I was able to see kind of how how things that you learn in school, things that you uh, are applied in the real world, in a way. I think when I went, if I remember correctly, we worked on helping build a classroom. We helped add a water storage tank in one of in the local village, and then we also help fill a big chunk of the hillside that they use for kind of community events and stuff that got eroded during one of their big rainstorms. And so it really kind of, well, first of all, it really kind of put perspective that there are how serious some of these issues can be, and how you could apply what you learn in the classroom to be able to apply them in the real world.
Mm,
Um, and so so that kind of just that well that trip kind of drove me even more to want to continue pursuing my degree and continue pursuing that field. Um,
yeah, that's great. So, yeah, and we loved having you on the engineering abroad program.
yeah.
You think of anything else or
Uh, I mean, as far as Cabrillo's concerned, I mean, I just feel grateful that I had the opportunity to go through the STEM program. I mean, I truly feel that it really prepared me not necessarily for school, but just life in general.
Mm,
I mean, I enjoyed studying in the STEM center. Got to meet a lot of great engineering minds. A lot of them who are to this day still good friends of mine that I
mm,
still keep in contact with. And it really prepared me for when I transferred to San Jose State, because once when I was in San Jose State, it kind of, I mean, it's a good school. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of felt like the faculty members were maybe not necessarily as available. You know, because a lot of them are still working professionals. Some of them are involved with other um, things for the school, so they don't necessarily. It's not like in Korea where I could maybe swing by somebody, any of the professors' office, and if they were at their desk, they would. I could sit down and have a chat with them. At San Jose State, you'd have to kind of plan that ahead, but by meeting a lot of great engineering minds, people that were driven to finish their degree, I was able to have study groups with them, with those who also transferred to San Jose State.
mm.
And actually, one of them, if I don't know if you remember his name, Ivan Ayala, actually ended up being my housemate for
Oh, that's great.
that last 2 years of San Jose State, and because we are both pursuing the same degree, we were both on kind of on the same. We were on both on the same trajectory because we graduated San Jose State together. We were
Yeah,
able to support each other in our school, in our studies, and 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 we were also able to work on our projects together. So it was great to have people, familiar faces to work with once when you transferred over, because it made the transition a lot easier,
yeah,
and stuff. So
yeah. Well, thanks for all your words of wisdom. Thank
I'm
you, Jose. I
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate you being willing
Yeah,
to take this time to make this video. So
yeah,
let me, I'm gonna stop the recording, okay?